Hi, everyone. Welcome to Broker Connect. This is a bi-weekly live session with ARIVE users where you can learn best practices, get insight into how other brokers are using the system, and get tips from these seasoned users as well. Today's guests, and this is a really great episode, today's guests are Munar and Fredo Rivera. These guys are ready to share their knowledge with you to help you grow your business with ARIVE and get the most out of the platform. So let's get right into it. Fredo, welcome.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
Happy to be here.
Hi, Kelly. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah.
Of course. All right, Andre, I'm going to kick it over to you to start off. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your brokerage? And then Fredo, you can do the same.
Kelly, thank you so much for having me. Really excited to be on here. As you said, my name is Munar. I'm one of the co-founders of Collab Lending. I own it with my business partner, Megan Marsh. We are located out of Pennsylvania. We have about 35 team members. And I think the most exciting part about our brokerage is we spearheaded opening up the brokerage community in Puerto Rico. So we were the first mortgage broker back in Puerto Rico and really spearheading that. So yeah, and I've been a broker for I've been in the business 17 years. I've been a mortgage broker 16 of those years. So I'm a huge advocate of being a mortgage broker. It's the best place for a loan officer. It's the best place for a consumer. And yeah, a bit of us.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm broker owner of RDT Mortgage located in sunny San Diego, California. I call it paradise. I am the self-proclaimed mayor of San Diego. And we focus basically on being a tech-enabled mortgage company with an Amazon-like process that really strives to give people 5-star customer service each and every time so that, you know, they keep coming back. I got my start in 2003 in the mortgage game by a broker, and he basically taught me how to process, to sell, and I've been in it really ever since, and never really been in retail. It's been a broker the whole time. I am an advocate for broker, and it's just blessed my life, man, hundreds of times over. So I'm happy to be here and share whatever I can.
Awesome. All right, Fredo, we're going to start with you. How did you discover ARIVE? How long have you been using the platform?
That's a great question. So I actually hate Calyx Point. I was forced to use it. I hate using the PC because I'm an Apple guy. But I ended up, when I was considering opening up my own brokerage, because before I opened the one that I own now, I worked for a broker. And so I kept shopping around, looking at different technologies. And then I actually found ARIVE, and then I actually signed up for it because of the certain things that the number one thing was that it worked on an Apple product, and it had a ton of functionality. So I just dived in and just started using it, and it's been great.
Awesome. How about you, Andre?
Yeah, so when you kind of sent over the brief questions, I started doing some investigating. I went back through my emails and I was like, when did I start using ARIVE? So actually, I'm in with a few different groups of friends, and I'm originally from Pennsylvania. So like I've been in with the AIM community, and we originally started to look at AIM back in March of 2019. And so I have an email from when we were participating then. But then when I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be pretty transparent. We started to get into it and we just felt it wasn't ready. So we decided to not move forward with ARIVE then. And then the most recent time was a year later in March of 2020. And we went all in ARIVE in March of 2020. Like Fredo, I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of a little old school. So I did love Calyx. I was obsessed with Calyx. I mean, I knew how to fix all the bugs in Calyx. Yeah. Like I knew it like the back of my hand. So I was kicking and screaming a little bit when we were changing over to ARIVE, but I'm so happy that we did. So in March of 2020, we went all in into ARIVE.
Cool.
Also, too, Kelly, really quick on that note, the other thing that really pushed me into the ARIVE platform was Gary Keller. He owns Keller Williams. He came out at Inman and basically gave an overview of where our industry as a whole was going with technology. And I tell everybody to go watch that on YouTube when you can. It's really quick. But the bottom line is that technology is changing everything. And this was back in 2018. So I didn't really see any, and this is just me. Maybe other people have seen other technology, but at that point, I didn't see any other technology that can really do what ARIVE did. And then again, my working on Calyx for so many years, they weren't growing or developing. And I'm not trying to, throw them under the bus, but the bottom line was that I wanted a platform that was willing to do that.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And you both are coming from using Calyx. So can you talk a little bit about what that transition was like? And did you struggle with that, or did you, use any trainings to overcome it? How was that transition? We can start with you, Andre.
Yeah. So like I said, I was kicking and screaming a little bit because I've known Calyx like the back of my hand for so many years. And I've also worked at other broker shops where we went from Calyx to Encompass. So I know what transitioning can be like. And sometimes it's really tough. You're like, oh man, a new system. Where am I going to find the buttons? All the buttons don't work. So then you've got to figure out like workarounds. And honestly, I'm really happy to say that maybe it's because I have so much experience, but I mean, ARIVE was just like, it was a walk in the park, to be honest with you. There's only a few side screens that you have to fill out, and that you have to go searching for where is this or where is that or where is this. And so the transition was really smooth. And at the time we had actually just brought on 10 loan officers. So we were like, okay, this will be a good time to just go ahead and transition. And then we also had 20 team members at the time. So, we thought they were going to kick and scream. And literally, I mean, nobody was kicking and screaming. Everybody was so happy with the transition. There was no question, like, man, should we go back to point or should we not? The transition was super smooth and everybody was really happy with it. And just the ease of use was so easy. And I think that's what made it's so user friendly. Us as the client and the consumer, that's a really important experience when you're, when you're in a busy business like we are. Transitioning to something that's so user friendly is really important. So it was super easy, no problems whatsoever. The transition was great.
That's awesome to hear. Fredo, I see you smiling over there. How was the transition for you?
No, the transition for me was pretty easy. I was going from a solo agent to growing my company. So I didn't have a lot of people to bring on other than a processor. So for me, it was really easy. But, to be fair, I'm somewhat tech savvy, and I'll like literally stay on the portal all night to just study everything about it so that I can make the move. So that's generally what I did. I basically signed up for it, looked at absolutely everything, and then burned the boats behind me to say, listen, this is what we're using. Come hell or high water. This is it. So I had to make it work. And it was great. I think the toughest part was that the processor that I still have her, so hopefully she's not watching this. She a little bit older, and she didn't want to switch over. So I think it was the team members actually getting them on board, not the LO, but the team member themselves that's been processing for 200 years, like telling them, listen, Calyx isn't where it's at. ARIVE is what we're using, and it has more functionality. It's better. And, you just need to learn it and go through the process. So easy for me. Bringing new loan officers, easy. Older team members didn't necessarily like it.
Okay. Now, we offer a bunch of support resources. We have new user trainings twice a week. We have some other trainings as well, office hours. So did you guys take advantage of those, or were you just kind of like hitting the ground running and it was sort of intuitive for you?
I'll start. So I looked at every video. It's kind of funny. I looked at every video you guys put out, and the office hours, I love to just get in and get out, get my questions answered, and go on with my day. Plus, I would Facebook message the ARIVE team members, and I even chased down Harish at the last few, like to say, listen, I'm struggling with this, and I wouldn't let him go until I got the answers I needed. So, I was a little resourceful with that. I'm not telling everybody to do that, but I really, like, it drives me nuts when I don't understand something. It's my analytical side. So I mean, it's all there. You just need to go in and get after it, whether it's talking to somebody or just looking at the videos that are pre-recorded.
Andre?
Yeah, I think what Fredo just said it best. It's all there.
Yeah.
You know, you need to learn to be resourceful, and so it's part of what we tell our team. You know, make sure you're in the ARIVE group. Make sure you're using the chat feature. Make sure you're watching the videos. But when we did onboard, like I said, we had about 30 team members, so we had ARIVE at that time. Gave us like 2 trainings to our whole group, and so by the trainings were done, we were pretty much off. But then, you know, as we brought on new team members, we do tell them to make sure, you know, you're in the ARIVE group, you're using the chat feature, and then you're watching the videos. And so I think the resources that you have, you know, are super helpful, especially the videos that you have of like where you show how you can fix the problems, is really helpful versus like, you know, them having to wait for some responses. I mean, obviously some things they have to wait for responses, but I would say most of your issues you can find in a video, which is guided by the ARIVE team that shows you exactly where you can fix something. And so if you need help right away, you can just kind of help yourself. And I think that's really a huge benefit that ARIVE has versus, you know, I remember having to call Calyx and call the 800 number, and then you have to give them your mortgage, your whatever number that I would have to go and find every time. They'd be like, what's your servicer number or whatever, and just a mess. So it's a really pleasant change to be able to just kind of find answers ourselves if we're resourceful enough.
I think also too, the from when I first started on ARIVE, and maybe Andre can speak to it as well, like it's completely overhauled and different from when I first started. So you know, to be fair, I loved the platform. I didn't necessarily love ARIVE's customer service at that point, but it was still young and still growing. But as it's continued on, I mean, literally, if you have a problem with ARIVE, you can get it fixed. I mean, unless the technology needs, it's like an issue with the technology developing or wish list. I mean, you can really get it solved almost immediately.
Yeah, and I think this is a really nice segue into my next question, which is, you know, can you guys talk a little bit about the community engagement of the ARIVE group? So Andre, you mentioned that you have your teammates join the ARIVE mortgage brokers group, make sure they're in there. And Fredo, you were kind of alluding to the fact that, you know, when you track down an ARIVE team member and, you know, give them some feedback, we're willing to implement changes for you or help you out with whatever problems that you have. So you know, starting with you, Andre, can you just speak to kind of our community engagement and how we implement that feedback?
Yeah, I think, and maybe it's my nature, I'm a huge Facebook fan. So like, that's my very first thing I tell my team, make sure you're always in, you know, whatever group it is. And so, and make sure you're resourceful and using the search button, because a lot of the questions that people ask are normally in there. But when you do have a question, or maybe you, there's a feature that you want added, I think that is probably one of the biggest things is that ARIVE really wants that feedback from the broker community, because we're trying to keep up with all these, you know, big retail shops that have all these like, you know, bells and whistles. And so ARIVE really wants to make sure that we as brokers are right there on that same level. And so when you give that feedback, ARIVE really takes that into consideration, and you guys reply right away and you say, okay, it's coming in Q2, or hey, we're working on that, or we're thinking about that, or why do you need that feature? And I think that's so important for us as the consumer to know that we're being heard. And so that absolutely, like, Facebook is definitely a big part. And also everybody at ARIVE is so nice. Like nobody says, why the heck are you asking that question? Or, you know, that's such a dumb idea. You know, you take everything into consideration. And so I'm a huge proponent of the Facebook group.
Yeah. The Facebook group is pretty awesome. I mean, they respond really quick. They haven't blocked any of my critical messages when I've had a few. I mean, honestly, it's all transparent. It's on there. And then, I mean, it's not just the people that are in or work at ARIVE, it's the actual other people within the ecosystem. I mean, I think that's what makes the Facebook group so great. I mean, I'm sure like the direct messages, and I mean, that's good. But the Facebook group is where all the answers get settled or answered, I believe.
It's where all the gold mine is, right there.
Yeah.
All right, guys, talk to me a little bit about the platform itself and what are some of your favorite features? Fredo, do you want to kick that off?
It's just freedom. Freedom is one of my core values. I need to be able to crush loans wherever I can go. Speed, speed to lead is huge, and like I said, an Amazon-like process. So, I guess one story will sum it up. I was headed to a conference in, I think, January, February at EPMX, and this was right before rates were going up, and I literally crushed a loan on an airplane. Put it together, sent it to the client, and then we ended up locking the loan. And then when I landed, rates went up. Like I would have just lost that client. And if you try to do anything on the internet on an airplane, like it's not the greatest, right? But I mean, that's the power that I absolutely love. I love if I go to an open house with an agent, I can literally break open my iPad Pro, which it works on that as well too, and literally put the whole thing together right there. I don't want to be stuck in my office or in front of my desktop computer. Like I need to be able to on the go. So the fact that I can do that is really super important to me.
Awesome. Andre?
I don't even know where to begin on this. There's just so many amazing features that Arrive honestly really has. So where do we begin? The ease of use screens on the left-hand side to make sure it's filled out. The REO section makes it really easy. I remember in Point, you'd have to really kind of play with it. So the REO section, you can't really miss the REO section. I love the fact that clients can upload documents to a portal, and you can either accept them or reject them. Like you can't do that in Calyx. Like you'd have to configure it and do all these crazy things to it. You can accept or reject the conditions in there. You can send out conditions from there. And that was really one of the biggest things, especially for my loan partners, because the clients would always say, I already sent that. I already sent that. And now there's no more of that. It's you either uploaded it or you didn't, or it's incorrect or it's not. Let's see what else. You can set up pre-approvals directly from Arrive. Like before, we'd have to have a doc template, a Word template, and then I have to send it out. I have no more of that. It's directly from Arrive. Yeah, I mean, just so many amazing features. I also love that for the realtors, they can create their own pre-approval letters right from there. You can co-brand the application link. Having an application link for each loan officer, right? That's a huge benefit. I mean, before each loan officer would have to go and get some other third-party application, and now it's like every single loan officer has their own application. The milestones, right? There's milestones. Again, before you'd have to configure those milestones from somewhere else in a different LOS. So there's just so many amazing features that Arrive has, and those are just some of the ones that are our team's personal favorites.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, guys, for going through each one of those features. I love hearing how those things are so important to you and your teams. But conversely speaking, are there anything or is there anything that you would like to see added to Arrive? What's at the top of your list?
Oh, let me pull out the laundry list.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that you guys are doing a great job, and obviously you're, always progressing. I think some of the things that my team would like to see, and I believe it's kind of in the works, is some CRM integrations, being able to do renovation loans, and then and being able to also, I'm going to be transparent, being able to export all of those clients from Point into Arrive, because like I said, we've been a broker for a very long time, so I have a long list, and and I think those are really some of just some of the ones that we looked for, especially when I asked my team. They're just like, yeah, it's not much, it's just a few things. So that's on our, nothing too major.
I personally would like an app for an iPhone or Android. I don't use Android, but an app would be great. I use the platform on my iPad Pro. It works great, but it doesn't work perfectly. I would absolutely love that. They answered my prayers with the integration, which is coming. But I would love them to improve the fact that just the connection with the lender, so that I wouldn't have to download the file and then upload it to the lenders. I would really love, I just want to sell, right? I just want to put the deal together and help my clients. I would love to do absolutely everything and never have to go back into the lender portal. Like that would be a dream come true for me because again, for me, I use a lot of technology. I have a technology stack that I'm trying to do this to, right? And if Arrive can do more of that for me and make it easier, man, I would absolutely love that.
And we're really seeing it in this market, and especially with some of the new loan officers. I would love to see a QM testing feature.
Yeah.
Because of the margin compression and some of the crazy hits that we're seeing right now, we're seeing some of our newer loan officers, they're not really understanding QM, so they get almost to the end and then they're like, it's failing QM. And really, I feel like it's kind of a market thing, because normally there isn't that big of a margin compression, but I would love to see just some kind of QM.
Yeah.
Great. I appreciate your feedback on that. As you guys know, we really value our users' feedback. So I'll throw this up the ladder to the boss.
Good.
If we can get you, see if we
Get
can
on it.
at it. All right. So I think, Fredo, you touched upon something earlier, which I thought was really interesting, where you said freedom is kind of such a big thing for you. Do you feel like, is that how Arrive has changed your business? Is giving you that freedom, or can you touch on that a little bit?
So when I talk freedom, like my whole goal is to be able to crush a loan anywhere, right? Like if I'm in San Diego, at the office, I can do it there. If I'm, drinking margaritas in Mexico, like I can do it there. Like that's, I mean, and everybody's different, right? Like everybody has their dreams and goals. But for me, it's being able to do that anywhere and create the life for my family that I want them to have. I don't want to be stuck anywhere. So Arrive allows me to do that. And like I said, if I do something on my laptop, like it'll be on my desktop or it'll be on my iPad. Calyx, and I feel like I'm beating them up a little bit, which it's good because they have it coming. But like I think you had to pay for that feature, like thousands of dollars to connect everything. And like I don't like that. That's the whole reason why I have an Apple iPhone. Like ease of use, it's all there. It's on every single device. And because of that, it allows me to, be in Florida or be in Texas or be in Arizona. I mean, wherever I want to go, my business is there with me. My team is there with me. I can look at it in real time with the people that I work with. That's true freedom for me. And that's what this platform does.
Yeah. Andre, how do you feel like Arrive has helped you achieve your business goals?
To be honest with you, I think it was just really shrinking all of the things that I needed to before.
Yeah.
Which was, I needed a work document pre-approval letter. I needed all different types of milestones and different CRMs. I needed to connect this to that and make sure this was going to that. And also really the training of new loan officers. So one of the things we really love to do here at Collab is take green people and show them the business, because we have a lack of new blood coming to the business. And using point and training somebody on point on how to fill out a 1003 was like beating my head against the wall. And so it's really given our team back and those trainers back a lot of time, because Arrive is just so easy to use. It's like, okay, are you making sure that you're going through these 5 pages over here versus, I mean, there was, I don't even, without at least 50 sections on the left side of point, like, oh, over here's this and over here's this and over here's this. And so it's really given us back a lot of time when it comes to training new people on how to use Arrive. And then I think people coming over from the retail world are just like, wow, the broker world is much different and has changed compared to before, where brokers really weren't on an even level playing field. And now we are almost basically at that same level playing field as far as our LOS does so much, and that's thanks to Arrive. So appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So one thing we didn't touch on was just what the platform is like from a client perspective, or even from a realtor perspective. How do you guys feel like the POS has been for clients, or how is the realtor portal as well? Fredo?
God, Fredo.
So it's a little bit of a mixed bag. So for the people that love technology, it's great for them. And kind of like when you submit a loan file to a bank, minimal touches gets it through a lot quicker.
Mhm.
I mean, this system absolutely does it. With the older generation, it's a little bit of a challenge sometimes in order to get them on it to finish uploading stuff and doing all that. Like you really got to be super involved to help the older generation with the technology. And maybe that's not specific to Arrive. That's just technology in general. But again, the people that love the technology, it works great. The agents, they love it. At least from my perspective, because they can generate their own pre-approvals. They can change the addresses on things like it takes me out of the equation. Like as much as I like to think they want to talk to me, they really don't. They just want a pre-approval at 11 p.m. on a Saturday night, and they can do it all on their own. So they love it. But again, I'd say the only drawback is the technology adverse client, whether a realtor or a consumer. They're the only ones I technically have an issue with that I got to handhold.
Gotcha. How about you, Andre?
To be honest with you, some of our Google reviews have actually included just the ease of use of our systems and how they basically almost never really had to talk to us, because their conditions would be sent to them in an email. They would just upload them, and then they would just hear they were clear to close. So the client's experience has just been great. And like I said, the biggest thing is clients get frustrated when they say they've sent something or they've faxed something, and it's like, whether it was a human error and our team missed it, or it wasn't the right thing and our team forgot to communicate it, like that no longer happens.
Right.
And so the client, it makes the client experience just that much better, where it's like, okay, now we can all be held accountable for what you're uploading or what you're sending or what you're not sending. And then, obviously the realtor portal is a game changer as well. Because it takes us out of the equation.
Also, too, really quick on that is that we talk about friction with the consumer, the people that we're serving. It also takes the friction out of our teams. Like Andre brought it up several times, like, hey, we don't have the document you said you were going to upload, right? It makes it really easy to track it so that our teams don't get beat up, and it's in an organized place. And our culture is going that way. It's click, click, boom. Right? Everybody buys stuff for the most part on Amazon. That's what they're expecting. And if you don't have that, you're going to be obsolete. So again, these features that keep getting better, that's where it needs to go.
Nice. All right, Fredo, what would you say to someone who's maybe on the fence of using Arrive? What would you say to them?
Stop being cheap. Just sign up and do it. I mean, what more do you need to see? Right? Like what's the true objection? Do you just not want to embrace where things are going, technology is going, the industry is going? Like you're getting killed on Calyx. I mean, you don't need to search far for what's happening in our industry today. The broker channel is winning because of a lot of things, but specifically technology. So you need to either implement that or die. I mean, sorry to sound so blunt about it, but I mean, the reality is that that's where it's at. We need to be lean. We need to be mean. We need to be quick. And the whole team needs to be that way, because, we're working, with compression on a lot of things. We're working off of volume, and like you need technology that's going to facilitate that. And if you're not, well, stick to the dinosaur and see where it goes or what happens.
Andre, what would you say to someone who's still kind of considering Arrive? They haven't signed up yet. They're thinking about it. What would you say?
I would honestly just ask why not. Really, that's what it comes down to at this point, because there's nothing that Arrive does that all of the other systems I've used in the past don't do. So I'd really just say, like, why not? Like, I'm thoroughly confused why you would not.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody who's been an avid Calyx user, and I mean, I loved Calyx, and I went kicking and screaming from it just because I knew it like the back of my hand. I love Arrive so much, and I'm so happy that we're using it and all of the integrations that you guys have made and all of the progress. I honestly I can't believe that it exists, to be honest with you. Like, holy cow. So, yeah.
All right. Well, gentlemen, is there anything else that we didn't cover that you guys want to speak to, or did we get everything?
I mean, if you are not on ARIVE, or if you're thinking of making the change, please make sure you reach out to me or reach out to your ARIVE team. I would be happy to answer any questions for you. It seriously changes your business, and just, all of the things that it comes with. It's not just an LOS, there's so many things that come with it. So make sure that you at least get a demo, speak to some people, speak to people who are using it. Highly encourage you to make that change. It will definitely change your business. You'll made that change. And if you're already in the business, it's not going to take you more than a day or two to figure out ARIVE. I promise you, it's the easiest thing ever. So just do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say, like, listen, you guys aren't paying me to do this. Like, I just have gratitude in my heart to just share with other people that, like, this will change your business if you allow it to. I mean, it doesn't take that long to set up. The community is there, and again, if you will embrace where we're going as an industry and technology, like, you'll win with this. And just let everybody know, to the skeptics out there, I'm probably one of the biggest skeptics you can meet. Like, I'm super analytical. It has to make sense or it drives me crazy. Like, and I'm willing to share my opinion, whether good or bad, like, up front. And I other than a few different issues that were worked out, I mean, ARIVE's where it's at.
Well, I think that is the perfect way to wrap up this session. Fredo, Andre, it's been awesome getting to hear from you today. I know your insight is really going to resonate with a lot of people. So we really appreciate you taking this time.
Oh, great.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Of course. Catch us back here live for another episode of Broker Connect in 2 weeks. We'll have a new pair of awesome guests for you waiting to share their knowledge. Thanks for tuning in.
Not more awesome than us.
Agreed.
Never.
Yeah, come on.